Hi, today's lesson is 11.4, Writing Proportions. Please get out your notebook and pencil or pen and get ready to start taking notes. Here are your steps for writing proportions. The first step you want to do is take your figure and draw the two triangles separately. You're going to set up a proportion and then you're going to solve for the variable. These steps will make a lot more sense once we do the first example. At a given time of the day, a building of unknown height casts a shadow that is 24 feet long. So when we add this 20 and the 4 together, this distance from here to here, they're telling us, is 24 feet. And this here is the height of the building, which they call X, because we don't know how long that is, or how tall that is. At the same time of day, a post, here's the post right here, and the post casts a shadow that is 4 feet long, and the post is actually 8 feet. So we want to find out what's the height of the building. In order to do that, we're going to use the proportion. So the first thing that we want to do is actually draw the two triangles and separate them. So here's the first triangle that includes the height of the building, the actual height of the building, and its shadow length. So we know that the shadow length is 24 feet, and we're trying to find this X, the height of the building. The second triangle in this figure is the pole and its shadow length. So we have the pole's shadow length, which is 4 feet, and then the pole's height is 8 feet. So we want to find what is the height of the building. So before I start, I always like to put a little key for my proportions so I know what numbers are going to go where. So I'm going to have the actual height of the object over the shadow length. So in the first fraction, I'm going to put the actual height of the building. Do I know the actual height of the building? No. So we'll call that X. The shadow length of the building, though, is 24 feet. And then we have the actual height of the pole, which is 8 feet, over its shadow length, which is 4 feet. Now we can set these equal to each other because these two triangles are similar triangles, so that's why we can use proportions. Now to solve proportions, we've done this before this year, so we can just cross multiply. We have 4x equals 24 times 8 is 192. And then to solve, we're going to divide by the coefficient. So 4x divided by 4 is just x. And 192 divided by 4 is 48. So that means that the building height is 48 feet tall. So that's how we can use triangles to help us find unknown heights. Here's another triangle. We need to write a proportion to try to find X. Now we have two triangles here. So I'm going to outline one in red and I'll outline the other in a different color so we can see the difference between the two triangles. So the first triangle here is right here where I've outlined it in red. And then the second triangle, so actually I'm going to draw this triangle over here. That's in red. And I know it's not exactly correct, but you get the idea. This is 8 meters, and this is 12 meters. Now we also have a bigger triangle, and here's the bigger triangle that I'm going to outline in green. Now the bigger triangle, if we take now these links aren't very accurate, but you guys get the idea, right? I'm running out of screen here. So this side here is 12 plus 13, which is going to be 15 meters. So to get this whole side length, we have to add that together. To get this whole side length, we're going to have to add 8 in x. So the length of this green side is going to be 8 plus x. Now we have similar triangles again. So that means that these sides, the legs, and the hypotenuse are similar lengths. So we're going to use a proportion. We'll do leg over hypotenuse. So we'll take the leg of the red triangle, which is 8, over the hypotenuse of the red triangle, which is 12. Then we'll take the leg of the green triangle, which is 8 plus x, over the hypotenuse of the green triangle, which is 15. Now we're going to have to cross multiply. So we have 12, and we have to put parentheses around this here because it's times this quantity, 8 plus x. And that's going to equal 8 times 15, which is 120. So before we can go any further, we need to distribute the 12. So we're going to multiply 12 times 8 as well as 12 times x. So 12 times 8 is 96 plus 12x is equal to 120. Now we need to solve two-step equations. So we want to get rid of the 96 first. So we subtract 96 from each side. 96 minus 96 is 0. We have 12x is equal to 120 minus 96 is 24. Then we're going to divide by the coefficient, which is 12. 12x divided by 12 is just x. And 24 divided by x is 2. So we just needed to find out the length of x, and the length of x right here is 2 meters. So what I want you to do is I want you to try this problem on your own and see if you can find the missing length of x, and when you finish, turn back on the video and we'll go over this together. Okay, here's the first triangle. This triangle ABE. So triangle ABE looks like this. And we know that the hypotenuse is 20 meters and this leg here is 13 meters. Now there's a bigger triangle here called ADC. That as well as a right triangle, and they're both similar. So we can use proportions to help us find the length. Now they tell us here that from A to C is 21 meters. They don't tell us what A to D is, but we can see that the distance from A to E is 20 meters, and the distance from E to D is x. So we're going to add those together. So A to D is 20 plus x, or x plus 20. So now we can set up our proportion. So we can do leg over hypotenuse again. So we'll take the leg from AB, which is 13, over the hypotenuse, which is 20. The leg of ACD is 21, and the hypotenuse is right here. It's the line across from the right angle. That is 20 plus x. Now I'm going to want to put some parentheses around here so that I know when I cross multiply, I have to multiply that whole quantity by 13. So it's 13 times the quantity 20 plus x equals 21 times 20, which is 420. Now I'm going to distribute 13 times 20, 13 times x. 13 times 20 is 260 plus 13x, and that equals 420. So we're going to have to do some solving of equations again. So we subtract 260 from each side. 260 minus 260 is 0. So we're left with 13x. And then 420 minus 260 is 160. Then we divide 13x by 13, which is just going to give us x. And then 160 divided by 13. And 160 divided by 13 is 12.3. So that means that the length of this segment from E to D, ED is equal to, oops, I'm getting too close to my work here. ED is equal to 12.3 meters. That's all for today. If you have any questions, bring your questions to class. Thanks.